Thanks for listening to the Hardheaded podcast. I said the.
Wait, we're just doing a show, and we'll do it live at the end.
He's having some taco issues over there.
Taco bout, some issues.
Man, we need some intro music.
All right.
Hit it.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Hardheaded show.
Hardheaded podcast.
It is a podcast. It's
Video
a show.
cast.
We're all over the place.
It's a multitude of things.
Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Hardheaded.
What do we do today, Troy?
Well, first off, you were going to tell us a little bit about what is going on in your life.
Okay. And then what?
And then we're going to do a top 3 like we do every episode
Top
of
three.
Hardheaded.
What's the top 3 subject today?
Sports that you watch.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I can do that.
On TV or in person?
It could, I think.
Whatever?
I think, yeah.
open, free for
Sky's
all,
the
man.
limit. Free for all.
All right.
Yeah, and after that, Matt's going to give us a good word.
Tall order. I did not do any homework.
I have no clue why. I mean,
I don't doubt that.
it's not like you didn't know what was coming up.
I did, but I couldn't find your email.
Yeah.
And so I basically had to data plan.
Because I only sent it to your email address.
I couldn't find it.
Did
We'll figure
you even look for it?
We'll figure something out. I think I can come up with a good word on the fly.
Well, we hope it's good.
Why do you have
Maybe
to email each other when your desk is right here?
Maybe a
and
mediocre
your desk is right over there. Can't
So-
you just?
Let's talk about the amount of hours certain people are in the office.
And it might be another top 3 that we have to discuss, but it's methods of communication because talking and phone calls are my number one least favorite way to communicate. I prefer email or text.
I'll tell you right now, it's funny because in my house, I don't talk to my wife until she's had coffee. Like in the morning, and when I used to go to work early in the morning, I wouldn't talk to her at all. Like I'd see her, but I wouldn't talk to her at all. I'd go into work and then I'd be at work for about an hour and then I'd send a good morning text. You are just like that. Like you walk in and I say something obnoxious like, "Good morning, sunshine." And you're like, and then you sit down and then like 20 or 30 minutes later, you're like, "Hey, so what's up, man?" He's like,
I need my time. I mean, that's why I don't come in until when I come in.
You only have like a 40-minute drive by yourself to get to work. I mean, you need a lot of time.
I do need a lot of time. I mean, and it's a good thing that I do live as far away from work as I do because that gives me time to decompress.
Worse.
Oh, it would be terrible. You don't want just woke up me.
Who's saying it's not terrible now? It'd just be more terrible. Terrible. All right.
So what's on your mind?
Well, I'll tell you right now, Operation Warp Speed. I'm not going political with this at all. But
Good.
What we know is we were told something at the beginning of the year about when a vaccine's coming out. And then by somebody that doesn't know, right? Never developed a vaccine, doesn't know timelines, doesn't know anything about that. And every air quote expert that could get on TV was coming out saying it is impossible to run a vaccine to ground in the timeline that was just told to everybody. And here we are.
Injecting sugar water into everyone.
Hey, it made some lady pass out.
Hey, she passes out whenever she gets a shot.
Oh,
Any shot.
okay.
And that's why she volunteered to.
I saw that text. I got that text too.
No, but really, so the timetable for a typical vaccine, I'm trying not to get political with any of you.
We're not getting political. I mean, it's funny.
All right.
That's the person that you picked.
Troy, how many years does it take to get a vaccine out on the average timeline of this day and age?
I don't know. I would think more than one.
Yeah.
At least.
10 to 12.
Okay.
That's a long time.
That's a long time. And then you go back, and I was looking up, just kind of, because I'm thinking it's fascinating from a leadership perspective. I'm looking at this, and I want to know, like, what did this team do? And the team, you start digging into it, was not the politicians. There was they had several departments on there: CDC, Health and Human Services, National Institutes of Health, the Department of Defense. And then you had the DOD in there from a logistics perspective, and one of the main guys was a DOD guy. Nothing to do with medical. And I want to know what that team did. Like, how did they make this work? It's just fascinating to me when for so long the scientific community, the health community, has been doing things that take a set amount of time. And somebody comes in and disrupts them and says, "You're not going to do that. We're going to go faster than that." And their first reaction was, "It's impossible. Like, we cannot go faster." Maybe 3 years. In fact, there was this think tank that came out and did a study. They bring in all their health experts. They talk to doctors across the world. They talk to virologists. They talk to all these professionals, and they released a paper on October 2nd of 2020 that says that there is only an 85% chance that there will be one vaccine ready by December of 2021.
What was that percentage again?
85% chance
85.
that one vaccine would be ready for the market December of 2021. And as we're sitting now, 3 vaccines are 2 of them are shipping. One of them is right on the doorstep of being approved and shipping. So I'm thinking, there's something for all of us to learn here. Not necessarily about vaccines and all that kind of thing, but like, my gosh, how do you, what are we doing today that we say can't be done any other way? It's going to take this long to do it, or I can't do that. When you get a broad team together, which we saw with Operation Warp Speed, all the experts on what has to be done, you need them, right? It's not like all these doctors just don't know what they're doing and they can't do it inside of 10 years. We're not going to talk to doctors. We had to have doctors tell us what has to be done. What does a clinical trial look like? How many people do we need? I mean, there's those experts are still valuable, but who was in the chair, or how many people were there saying 6 months for that is not going to cut it? How can we cut that down? That's not acceptable. Let's cut that down. And down to the detail of, selecting the people. I think another thing that's fascinating about this, the volunteers, right? We typically pay, you hear advertisements on the radio. We will pay you for a trial. If you would just take this drug or the placebo, we're not going to tell you, but
Mm-hmm.
No lack of volunteers for this. So the whole world kind of came together, and everybody was like, what can I do to help? I've had COVID, or I'm at risk. I'll volunteer for this vaccine. Everybody kind of came together, and man, they pushed this thing over the goal line fast, record pace. And I think there's something there for us to learn. I hope some of those folks write a book and give us some insight into how to break down barriers, how to get rid of the norm, and move us along in a quicker direction that's going to help a lot of people. And then how do we get the whole community, around an issue and help? Because it can't just be there. You need volunteers for this. You need logistics people. It's fascinating. So that's what I've been thinking about. That's what's been on my mind lately, is just like and that's a pretty cool name too. I mean, I'm no good at naming operations, but Operation Warp Speed.
It does sound pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I like
ludicrous speed.
Yes. That's for COVID 20 instead of COVID 19.
But and I think when you take the politics out of it, because you said you weren't going to get political with it,
yeah,
and you have everybody working together for one common goal,
yeah,
and that's the way that politics should be. So politics, I think, should reflect how this vaccine came about.
Yeah. And whether you're on the...
And so if those doctors write a book, I think our politicians should be the first ones to read it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I do think there is something to be said for somebody at the top saying, we are going to do this. And you go back, JFK, we're going to go to the moon, right? he's not going to figure out how to get us to the moon, but setting, hey, this is what
The
we
goal.
have to do. Like, and not just an easy goal, right? Because then you're not focused on it. But
Well, that's what he
this
said.
is,
We don't choose to go to the moon because it is easy. We choose to go because it is hard.
yeah.
Yeah.
And set, so there's a little lesson on leadership there is, you know, people in positions of power that can literally say, we have to go get this done. Like, and I'm looking at it like internalizing that from a family perspective. Like, what is there any daunting task that, you know, I'll tell you, school right now is really hard with our kids.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and so, hey, even though this is hard, how can we set a goal? How can we rally everybody around it, get full support? Everybody understand this is important. Let's jump all hands on deck. Let's not think I can't do that because, or this never worked because. Let's think about it differently. And I think there's a lot for all of us can learn there. Like you said, one common goal, like that everybody actually, you know, wants this thing to go away. There's nobody out there that's like, oh, this is great, you know. Even if you don't think it's that bad, just the ramifications of it on the community is bad.
Right.
You know, so get everybody got around there, man, push this thing over the goal line. It's a miracle. In fact, that's what most of the quotes were. It would be a miracle if. Like there's no way that's going to happen. The only way that could happen is if it's a miracle. And here we are, 3 different companies, 3 different vaccines, and a fraction of the time that it normally takes those organizations to get through.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to seeing, you know, what happens with each vaccine. You know, like whether one works better than the other, one doesn't work at all, or
well, they're going to work. I mean,
just,
the studies have shown.
Okay,
but
that's good.
The problem is, you know, the first 2 that have been released, Moderna and Pfizer, they require 2 doses. So there's a lot of nervousness if somebody's going to get the second dose. If they don't, it's not as effective. The third one coming out, the Janssen one, is from Johnson & Johnson. It's a single dose, so they're a lot higher expectations for that one being very effective. And then you get a certain percentage of people that take it in a population, even those that don't. If you get above a threshold of, I don't know, somewhere around 75 to 80%, then those that haven't taken it, you've got this herd immunity type situation that goes from there. So it's not something that necessarily everybody's going to have to take. So anyway, that's what I was thinking about.
Well, somebody did their homework.
Yes, he did.
I wrote the email.
You did write the email. No, but it was funny because I did see you over there doing your research today, and I was like, man, I should probably come up with a good word for today.
Yeah. So I sent you an email. You didn't open it. I was an example to you, and you're just like, yeah.
Well, I mean, like I said, we break it down, and email is one of my favorite ways to communicate, but I failed to open yours.
Yeah. I need to read that book to find out how to get you motivated to come up with something.
That's true. Maybe we can work together as a team to figure that out. So when those guys write a book, I mean, I'll have to get an audio book, but I'll listen to it and maybe try to apply some of those principles.
All right. Maybe.
All right. Next segment is my favorite, top 3 things.
Top 3.
Top 3 sports to watch.
Top 3 sports to watch. Chet, why don't you lead us off today?
All right, man.
What is your third?
Third, MMA.
MMA.
Ah, that's a good one.
Yeah. I was never even a boxing fan. But when, I don't know, it was like TNT or something, it's, you know, years ago, was showing old UFC fights or whatever. And man, I'd come around to it on the channel surf and stop and had to finish the show. It was just fascinating. So just, kind of get into it.
Yeah. Some of the things you see on MMA. Have you ever seen it live?
Nope.
Oh,
It's
even
pretty spectacular.
better.
I actually got to go to Vegas, and we were there. There was a fight that night. We ended up getting tickets to the fight, and we were lucky enough to go to the weigh-ins and watch the weigh-ins in person, and then go backstage and meet a few of the fighters.
Yeah.
And some of those guys, I mean, they look ginormous on TV.
They're not.
You know, and you walk up to them, you're like, I could take this guy.
No.
And Joe Rogan was actually there as well, so I got to see Joe.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So MMA, college football.
College football.
Yep. You know, and I'll tell you, you know, that CBS 2:00 game, SEC, all over the country. That's one of my favorite ones to watch. But yeah, in any college football, and then you know general football after that. But college football is so much more fun.
Yeah, they're actually playing for something. I feel, you know,
other than money. Wait a minute. Depends on what program you're in. I promise you, I've been working at that car dealership, $250,000 a year. Anyway, number 1, golf. Professional golf.
You mean you like to take a nap?
No, well,
on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing to watch too. Oh wait, the back of my eyelids.
A little bit of that too. Yeah, if I get home from a duck hunt, you know, like on a Saturday, no matter what's on, there's going to be some napping going through.
Oh yeah.
But I will tell you this, and I haven't put a stopwatch to it, but there is no sport on TV today that has more shots in a quicker time than golf. They've got like 47 cameras out there. And it's like, oh, so-and-so's hitting. Okay, let's go over to this hole. Oh, so-and-so's hitting. Now this guy's putting. Now this guy just saw the tee box. And it's just like boom, 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 boom. Non-stop action, which is hard to believe for golf. But literally, you put up a golf match next to a baseball game on TV, and there, you know, it's like every 45 seconds there's a pitch, or every minute and a half, because the dude has to step out of the batter's box and do the thing with his gloves and adjust this and do the thing on his helmet and then get back in there. Then
and spit. And
then
they're not going to be able to spit now when they come back, the major league.
No way.
No, they just ruled when they rolled out the COVID rules. Spitting is on there.
It's whatever, dude. What are they going to do? Fire him?
I don't know.
Kick him out?
Oh, that's a fine.
Fine?
That's probably a fine.
They're going to be paying to play then, because there's no way. There's no way.
I couldn't do it.
No.
And I don't even play baseball.
I mean, because all the tobacco, sunflower seeds, I mean.
Yeah. No spitting.
Louise.
We'll see.
But that baseball, I'm telling you, like there would have been like 17 golf shots happen on TV in the time it takes to pitch a ball.
And that's true, you know, because the football games that we watch, you know, on TV, it's kind of funny because going to a live football game takes forever.
Yep.
And then when you're watching on TV, I mean, they're cutting and they're, you know, cutting away to an interview or they're cutting away to this. And so you're not seeing
what's
the timeouts and all the standing around on field waiting for, you know, whatever.
Wait for the TV. The worst thing is being at a televised football game, whether it's pro or college, and everybody, they call a timeout because they're doing something, you know, some part of the game, and they're ready to get back and play, and the normal timeout would have ended by now, but there's a dude standing out there with a sign that's counting down when the commercials are going to be over. So everybody just stands on the field and waits for the commercial time to end so then they could get back and play ball. Horrible.
Now, I do like what they've started doing, and they've started going half screen almost. So now you've got a commercial kind of run on this side, and then you've got the game going on that side. And I don't mind that.
But golf, and the other thing about golf that I like, the majors. You have 4 majors a year. They're all intense. Everybody, you know, so it's not like there's one championship at the end or like leading up to playoffs, and you're just whatever. It's like, man, this is a major. It's a pretty big deal.
Have you ever played fantasy golf?
No.
I have. At my old work back in Shreveport.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we just like you play fantasy football, you pick like 2 or 3 I think it was like 2 or 3 golfers for the season, and
you
know, however they do, they rank and you play people each week. It's pretty ridiculous, but we did.
It does sound ridiculous.
I'll tell you what's ridiculous.
Fantasy golf. We did fantasy NASCAR.
That's what the GM guys that I used to work around, they were in fantasy NASCAR, which and they drew, like they would literally put drivers' names in a hat.
Oh yeah.
So it's not like you could pick. And then I'm like, you could do that for past races. Like you don't have to do it for the upcoming race if you're drawing a name. Like, let's just get this over with. You know, they're like, no, it makes you want to watch no, it doesn't.
It makes you want to watch it. They're looking for reasons to watch cars go around a track. I don't know.
So anyway, top 3, MMA, college football, and golf.
Perfect.
All right.
Yeah. All right, Matt, what do you think?
Not a bad top 3. I've got another one of those lists that kind of fluctuates between 1, 2, and 3 because I really don't have a favorite.
I see a recurring theme. with Matt's top threes.
Are you thinking about the top three right now? You don't even know what you're going to say because you didn't prepare?
You're exactly right. No. So I'm going to...
everything Chet said. I agree. Troy?
No, that can't be right. I can't agree with you on anything, with the exception of I will give you MMA. So I'll say number 3 is MMA. And I used to watch back in the day when the UFC, back in UFC 1, when it was no holds barred, no rules, and those fights were absolutely boring.
Yeah.
And here you got somebody that could potentially actually get killed in the ring, but it just wasn't as fun to watch as what we have now. I mean, the skill of these guys is absolutely incredible, and it's so much fun to watch on TV. And so when the UFC became what it is today, and I believe it came with the purchase that Dana White made, and took everything over and got it going in the right direction, it's been a heck of a lot of fun to watch. And following those fighters, I mean, I think for probably 3 years, I didn't miss a single pay-per-view fight.
Wow.
I literally watched everything, and again, had a chance to meet a few of the fighters, which, means, watching them fight when you've met somebody and
there's a connection
and you've got a connection there, and finding out some of those things about some of those guys, and about their personal lives, more than what you see in a pre-fight interview and when they're bowing up and trying to posture. And then I never thought that I would put boxing on my list because, obviously it's just one facet of what MMA is.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you guys watched that latest fight. The Tyson fight.
Yeah. No, I didn't.
So I actually watched that, and in this COVID era, I couldn't see a crowd. I don't know if there was or not, but you had all these commentators. You had Snoop Dogg in there, and I think it was and I can't remember who the rest of those panels were, but watching those two guys fight at their age and seeing the skill that both of them had at that age and how fast they were, and for both of those guys, I could tell that Jones was getting a little tired there towards the end, but Tyson looked like he could probably go another 8 rounds. And so that was a heck of a lot of fun for me, just because Tyson growing up he was the man, when I was growing up, and playing Mike Tyson's Punch Out on Nintendo, he was the dude. And so being able to see him come back and be in a more positive frame of mind and ready to fight. And then I think it was because he was fighting for a good cause.
Well, it gave him some. I caught him on a few interviews at a time. Just talking about that there was something to do now, right?
Yeah,
kind of woke him up and gave him something to focus on and go get.
Yeah, and
vision.
And I think they said before that fight he dropped like 100 pounds in order to make weight for that fight. And so at 50 some odd years old, dropping that amount of weight and being able to punch and move as well as he did is absolutely incredible. So that brought back boxing back for me a little bit. And then obviously when, you've got UFC fighters crossing over, when you got the McGregor, Mayweather, fight, I paid to watch that, and it wasn't all that I thought it was cracked up to be, but it was still a good fight, especially when you look at the experience of Mayweather and the inexperience of McGregor. And watching that, it's fun to watch and, see things that I can't do and watch people be able to do them.
Cool.
And so then I would have to go number 1, sport to watch for me, even though I like watching soccer, which I know sounds crazy. It sounds weird because soccer is, there might be one or two goals every 90 minutes, but
1 or 2 shots on goal.
No, there's a lot of shots on goal. They just, but
you even call it that? I know that's a hockey term. Shots on goal. Is that what you say that in soccer too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a shot on the goal. Yeah.
My bad.
Whatever.
I'm no soccer expert.
But so that's where
it's football.
It kind of depends on the year whether soccer's in my top things to watch, because most of the time you only have like a MLS or you've got these club matches from England.
Yep.
But you have the World Cup.
I'll get behind some World Cup action.
I like watching. Like watching that, but I can't watch that as often. And that's the whole world gets involved in that, and so that's fun. And I had the opportunity to watch one of those down in Peru, and those people are absolutely nuts.
Oh yeah, shut things down.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Watched it in a bar, and it was absolutely crazy. But I can't watch that all the time because it's not on all the time, and so I would have to say that NFL football is probably my number one thing to watch. And again, for me, it's kind of odd because I didn't play football in high school. I ran track and did cross country and played basketball, and I played soccer myself. Mm-hmm. So football was never a thing for me. And then, but being in Kansas and coming from Kansas, obviously growing up, everything I got for Christmas and all that was always Kansas City Chiefs. So I would consider myself a Chiefs fan for pretty much my whole life.
Yeah. And you went public after they won the Super Bowl.
No, I was public. I was public before that, but
come on, man.
I didn't get the tattoo until then.
But I don't have any tattoos, man. Probably the only Marine without one. But so, but what made it fun to watch was Patrick Mahomes. Because
no doubt.
He makes it fun to watch. And then you get tired of watching Tom Brady win everything. And I'm sure that's going to happen with Mahomes as well, getting tired of watching him win. But, right now, just the way that he can throw that ball in the different positions that he can get his body in. I mean, it's incredible because, again, I can't get in those positions myself. So it's fun to watch someone who can.
Yeah.
And obviously it helps when the home team has won a Super Bowl and they're looking at potentially another one. So that's made football fun for me to watch.
Well, just this time I've been in Kansas, I mean, the Chiefs have gone from absolutely horrible to world champions. I mean, it's been pretty neat. There's been a lot of fans, even when they were horrible. I mean, I pick on Chiefs fans about bandwagon stuff, but there's a lot of people that been there the whole time.
Well, I think I think the Saints could meet him in the Super Bowl this year.
I hope they do.
If Drew Brees will get his first quarterback in check. Because a couple weeks ago when we played.
Well, he's still injured, man. I mean, he's back playing, but he's been beat up.
Well, and they put him back in the lineup to play against a 12-1 team, the Chiefs, a couple weeks ago, and it was just not good. Wasn't pretty.
Well,
should have waited a week.
Say what you will, because I did a little texting afterwards and like, where's the trash talk to a buddy of mine, Brad, and he's like, man, we only won by 3 points, and Drew Brees was clearly not on his A game, like his worst, statistically worst game
ever.
Yeah. Michael Thomas was out.
Yep.
And he's like, there's no room for trash talk. We only won by 3. Yeah. And I'm like, I'd like to see you guys in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. And then awesome. And then thanks for taking out our rookie that has been an absolute phenom,
Edwards-Helaire.
I think that dude is a tank.
Love him. I love him. And his last name. I don't know if you know the story behind the Edwards-Helaire deal.
No.
Oh man, we'll talk about that some other time. But he had a birth dad that ended up, he was a drug guy dealing, whatever, went to prison when he was basically a baby. And then his mom remarried, and then he ended up restoring his relationship with his dad in prison. Dad got out of prison about the time he was in high school, and then he ended up deciding to take his birth dad's last name and his adopted dad's last name. Those two guys are really good friends now, sit with each other at all his games.
Oh, that's cool.
Just a fascinating story behind the Edwards-Helaire. I guess we didn't get to it later. We got to it now.
We got to it now.
Got to it right now. Very good.
No better time like the present.
But, of all the bad father stories that are out there, I mean, this one's twice as good as a one good father story because you got 2 really good fathers. So,
yeah, I mean, that's why I love it.
Yeah. All right. So, Troy.
Top 3 sports to watch. Number 1.
I saw this ahead of time. I don't believe it.
Well, I'll start with number 3. 3, 2, 1. Right.
Croquet.
Number
Close.
3.
Cricket.
Chet saw it ahead of time, so I'm calling an audible. Do you guys remember roller derby?
Yes, it's still going on.
Oh,
where can I
TV?
watch it?
We have a local roller derby team.
Oh my gosh! I'm going.
You need to
go
on that.
tomorrow.
No, I don't know what their name is, but I know that we have a local team. And matter of fact, one of my buddies has a wife that does roller derby. She's on a team.
Oh my gosh, I love it. So me and my neighbor used to watch it. It came on KMSS. That was the Fox channel in Shreveport when we were kids.
Yeah,
and we used to bet like quarters and stuff on which of these roller derby women were gonna win or get their face smashed on the skating rink. Awesome. So number 3.
What did that cut out?
Huh?
What did that cut out? You got an audible. What was the one that you replaced with them?
Oh, we're not gonna go there.
It's another ridiculous sport.
Number 2, billiards.
Okay.
Huh?
Yeah, billiards.
Just as exciting as golf, I would say.
Now,
because seeing the guys, the way they can just run the table and just rule the other player. I mean, they basically take turns on.
Yeah, whoever gets to go first sometimes
just
that's
wins.
over.
Just bam, done. It's incredible.
I
watch it because there is a skill there. I played pool in college, of course.
Yeah.
Lots of it.
In between studying and getting good grades and
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, going to chapel and all those good things you do in college.
I didn't see you there.
Well, I was in the band. I was in the band with your wife.
When?
Ooh.
My my sophomore year.
Where?
Temple Praise Band.
I wasn't there. Okay.
Anyway.
I wasn't there.
Anyway.
At that time.
But yeah, it's just amazing to watch those guys.
Okay. I appreciate skill, and there's definitely a lot of it there. It's just, the crowd, the announcers. He's about to take a shot on the 9 ball. It's not the same. Like oh, look at that shot.
Did he just skip the rooster? What did he do there?
What does that even mean?
I don't know. It's a billiard term.
Way.
Could be. I don't know. Leave a comment below.
We're just making up stuff.
It may be really bad.
Yeah, he went ahead and shot the moon.
Yeah.
Oh, he's getting ready to shoot the moon.
Something about a chicken.
Watch.
All right. And then number 1 is not just NFL football, but it's Saints football. It has to be the Saints. I don't really get into watching any other team, mainly because I don't have time for it these days. There was a time in my life I would just set up camp somewhere, friend's house,
and then you had
local
5
pub,
kids.
Watch NFL all Sunday, but no. I have 5 kids. That's correct. Yeah. I only have time for the Saints game when I remember that it's Sunday or Thursday night, and I can turn it on. Yeah. So those are my top 3. Roller derby, which I can't wait to go see.
That's not going on right now.
I don't know if it's going on
right now. Well, probably not now.
But there is. I mean, there are teams.
Okay.
Locally.
Maybe.
I can't remember for the life of me what the local team name is.
I'll go.
I'm all in. Let's go.
I'll go with you.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure after COVID, but.
All right.
Okay, Matt.
All right. Well,
give us a word, my friend.
We're going to take a break before we go a word.
Take a break.
Can we take a break? Let's go.
All right, we're back, and
we are back.
Matt's ready.
I'm ready. Woo! I had a lot of time to think right there. Man, coming up, it's. I think what's tough for me with coming up with a good word is because there is so much good word, and there's been so many good things that have happened in my life that it's hard to pick one thing to try to hone in on.
Yeah.
I guess. So I think I'm not gonna go backwards. I'm going to go forwards, and I am going to, as part of a good word, I'm going to try to live a good word for the next 365 days, being as we are starting in a new year.
Yeah.
And I think this is one of those, I don't want to call it a New Year's resolution, but something that I am more likely to be able to hold myself to. And so
if you put this out there, everybody's going to hold you to it. So
exactly. So, I mean, I guess,
there's some accountability coming with these next words you're about to.
I might be holding my feet to the fire, but I can always just take those off, right? So
I'll just get some new feet.
Here. But I think, with 2020 and the election cycle that has just passed, there's been a lot of negativity that's been flowing around, and there's been, close friends, whether you're talking about, and even family for that matter. You got close friends, family who are at odds over viruses or mask or no mask. And you've got people that are, I'm pro Biden and I'm pro Trump, and we're just going to argue about that. So I think for the next 365 days, I'm going to do my absolute best not to be confrontational, because that's kind of one of my habits, is to be a little bit confrontational, but not mean in that aspect. But I want to try to be more positive over the next 365 days.
So let me shift that just a little bit.
You want to unpack that a little bit?
Let's unpack that.
He's a little hard-headed on confrontation.
I think
I'm realistic.
The quickest areas that we as a society jump to are to argue about the things that we as a society as an individual, don't have the ability to change. So non-confrontational about those things is fantastic, because you're going to argue with people over stuff that, whatever. I can't change how everything's going to be on mask mandates, right? I can't. An individual is not going to be able to just like, woo, I'm going to argue with you, and all of a sudden everything's going to change for everybody. But I think we need to hold people accountable to those things that they're responsible for. Like, so, yep. So, yeah, I get, I'm 100% in agreement with you on the things that you mentioned, but at the same time, if I'm doing something I shouldn't be doing and you're there, be confrontational. You see what I'm saying? As an individual.
No. Okay, so maybe I should clarify. I am going to be more positive on
the bigger picture type stuff,
and mainly social media.
Yeah.
Because it seems to me that there's no gray area on social media. It's not like we can ever come to an agreement on social media. It's either extreme left, extreme right, or extreme up, extreme down, whatever.
Yep.
It's always extremes on either end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
And so I'm just going to avoid all of that and do my best not to engage in any of that, because it's in my nature to want to say, hey,
dummy,
you're an idiot.
Yeah.
And so because when I might get in an argument with somebody on Facebook over just something absolutely stupid.
Yeah.
Right. But then I see that person in person, and we can have a rational, nice discussion, and because you just can't read tone
right
when you're reading it, because you're going to read it in the manner in which you think that person is saying it.
Yeah.
So if you think that I'm being aggressive, you're going to read that in an aggressive manner, and you're going to take it that way, and you're most likely to get offended. So I'm just going to do away with all of that.
Right.
And just try to spread positivity for the next 365
days. I got you.
Days.
So I looked at my past on social media, and I get the memories on the whatever, like this day 7 years ago, you said everybody that voted this way was a dummy, and so I delete all that kind of stuff, and I'm like, yeah, hopefully I've matured over the years. But then like there's all kinds of people like, well, I'm getting off of this platform and I'm going to that platform and I'm getting off of this, and then I'm looking at it, I'm like, well, there's what I like is the interaction. I know what my friends have been doing. I see their kids growing up, and so then I've kind of looked at that and said, well, that's all I'm going to post is the stuff that I'm still here for. And I don't need to see all that other crazy junk, and nobody, you're just not going to get on there and change my mind about a whole lot of stuff. But I do like you as an individual and would like to see how your family's doing. And a lot of times it's, getting, tough news about, I'm at the age that a lot of our parents are having health issues and whatever else. And being able to support some folks like that. So yeah, I'm right there with you, man, let's keep that stuff about the people and not about the
keep it about the relationships, not the
social issues that we're not going to change by arguing with somebody or on the internet.
Exactly.
I like it, man.
Now, don't forget, I will argue with you tooth and nail in person, and you will, that's going to happen.
And over text,
but not
email.
Yeah. And email, but not a phone call, because I won't answer it.
Yeah.
He's
got issues with phone calls.
Chet?
Anybody, basically.
Yeah, anybody. Now, with the exception of my wife, because it's extremely rare that my wife will actually call.
So if she does,
then I know, hey,
I
probably better pick that up.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, Troy's at the point where he's regretted eating that gas station sushi.
I see that. Welcome back.
Yeah. Hey, welcome back, Troy.
It wasn't the sushi. It was that large beverage that I drank with it.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
What movie was that? The Sush is Loose? What movie was that?
That was a movie?
I don't know.
The Sush is Loose. Oh, I'm going to have to think of it. I don't know. Hey, if you know the movie, let us know because I can't remember.
All right.
The Souche is loose.
The Souche is loose.
Let us know your favorite top 3 sports to watch. That would be awesome in the comments.
Absolutely.
And we're supposed to read something right now.
I got it.
Okay,
You
man.
got it? You got it?
Yeah, I got this,
You want me to-
bro.
We can count on you.
You want me to play you out?
Play me out.
I got you.
Hit it. Thanks for listening to Hardheaded today. Feel free to leave your top 3s in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube if you'd like to watch the show. Also, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts because that really helps get the word out about us and the show.
A good review, please. If it's a bad review, just keep it to yourself.
Positivity for the new year.
That's right.
Yeah.